My sister and I inherited a family house, 50-50, in a bypass trust. How can I buy out her half of the house without triggering a reassessment of the California property tax in regards to the county assessor? So what's happening here, our gardeners here rubbing the windows, sorry for the noise. What's happening here is they inherited this house, brother and sister, 50-50 in trust. So the parents had passed away. The house went into a trust. They call it a bypass. It's just a credit shelter trust, and they are beneficial owners 50-50. Now in California, anytime you transfer real property to anybody, the law says there's a reassessment. But then we passed a constitutional amendment that says, do you see this guy? That says if you pass the house from parent to child, grandparent to grandchild, or husband to wife, or from yourself to an LLC that you own, the proportional interest is the same. So from me to an LLC that I own 100%, there's no reassessment. So you can transfer property between family members without your property getting reassessed. But there's one caveat. Brother and sister is not included in that exception. So when you transfer property interest, no matter how much of the property interest, if you transfer a home or 50% share of a home to your sibling, there's going to be a reassessment of that proportion that you've transferred over to them. So here we have brother and sister 50-50 owners. Usually when parents pass away, they pass the house. They don't want to pick favorites. They don't want to choose which child is their favorite. I always like to poke my mom, do you like me better or my sister? And she's actually fantastic. She doesn't answer. She says, I love you both with the bottom of my heart. So when you do that, then we become 50-50 owners. But the problem is if I own it and she owns it, if I want to buy her out and I pay her money to give me her share, the county is going to say, we're reassessing 50% of that property. And that's going to suck. So there's a very narrow window for all of you. Listen to this. There's a narrow window when you inherit property with anyone else that's not a parent or a child, that you can actually buy them out immediately and there won't be a reassessment. The law allows for this, but it's right before the property is distributed to you. Okay, so either during probate or with your trust, before the assets are distributed to you as the beneficiary of your parents' estate or what have you, you can go and get a special loan with a bank. And there's some banks, not all banks do this, but some banks that are aware of this law and they do this. Just reach out to me. I will help you get in touch with these banks. They will give you a loan during the administration or probate phase where they will give the estate money. You will distribute that out to your sibling as their share of the value of the home that they would have inherited. And California law says that's okay. And then when you or whoever is supposed to receive the actual home receives it, that loan will convert into a mortgage. And the law says that that's fine and that's kosher and there's no reassessment. Now here, you guys weren't distributed the home. It seems like it was given to you in trust for your lifetimes. It sounds like you're past the administration phase. You didn't make it sound like your parents had just recently died. So I think I have to look at your trust and see what it says. And I would love to put you in touch with one of my bankers to see if we can still, and if they're still comfortable doing this loan, where we have the trust take out the loan from the bank and then pay that out 100% as the share for, or hold it as a separate share for your sister. And then that will be her distribution. And then we can see if, it depends on if the trust owns the property outright. Like usually when it goes into a bypass trust, you're not changing the deed. So the trust still owns the property. So we can give her share, leave it in the trust. You keep your share and the house is yours, leave it in the trust. It's when we have to distribute it out directly to you, that's when the county assessor is going to see you file a new deed from your trust over to you. What happens next? Is there a reassessment? And they're going to read the trust document and they might say, oh, because it comes to the trust and it was to you and your sister and then you're just having it go to you, there's a reassessment there, right? So that's where I need to read your trust and I need to refresh. I got to go find that probate code that allows us to do that and then talk with the bank. And then I might bring in a consultant to just verify for me if it's going to be okay that we do this. But it is possible because it's still in the trust. Now, for those of you who you're past that stage, you've inherited the house with your other sibling and you both own it as joint tenants, you're past the stage of no return. There's nothing we can do. honestly, it's going to be a reassessment, and I'm sorry for that. What you probably should do is, if you want, you can have the property transfer into maybe a family partnership and have your sister own a percentage share and you own a percentage share. But even then, it's you kind of have to bite the bullet and either sell the home and get your share and you guys move forward, or just buy out your sister and eat the reassessment costs, because that you guys got into that trap, and that's poor planning. So for those of you parents out there, if you ever plan on giving your home to your children and you plan on giving it to them equally, whether you have 2, 3, 4, 8 children, 10 children, and they each get an equal share, you better find out, do they all want to own the home together? If they don't, this is where life insurance becomes a huge advantage. You get a life insurance policy for your child's share or proportional value of the home, and then that insurance policy will go to the child, and the full value of the home will go to the other child, and there's a balance there, and then the government says that that's okay. And you can do this with a trust, you can do this with a will. It doesn't matter if you have an estate plan or not. This is kind of how you can set that up, where you say, okay, the home goes to this one child that wants it, and the other child that doesn't want it, we have life insurance that will go tax-free to the other child, and that will be their proportional share. This is how you ensure they don't have to deal with this kind of mess down the road after. I hope you guys like my bug guy who's taking care of all our ants and roaches during COVID. That's all our questions for today. I'm Yasha Saba from Sky Unlimited Law. If you have any questions that you'd like me to answer for you, email them to us at info@skyunlimited.law, or go ahead and send us a message on Facebook. I'm going to answer them, and my outreach coordinator, she will record it, timestamp it, send it to you, so we will get you your answers. Thank you all for joining us. Take care.